Cheers guys, welcome. I'm David Harris. I'm the Divisional Director responsible for the new build side of this business. So as usually said, we have two businesses, a new build and a hire business. So I'm responsible for the new build, which obviously includes our new initiative on housing. I'll go through the format of the day in a second. Perhaps if I could just ask the people who are speaking today just to stand up and introduce themselves so you know who is who. Two of the speakers aren't here yet, who will be doing two small spots this afternoon. Perhaps introduce yourself, Darren.
Hi, I'm Darren Brooks. I'm Technical Manager for Waco UK.
Good morning. My name's Steve Riddell. I'm Managing Director of Innovate Offsite. We're an offsite construction consultancy.
I'm Nick Whitehouse. I'm representing Oxford Brookes University and Build Offsite today.
I'm Joanne Mills, the estimator for Waco UK.
Joanne's got a lot of knowledge about the housing product specifically, and she'll base herself in the house when we do the factory tours later on. So I'm sure between all of us we can answer all the questions. Thank you. So I'm going to rejig the itinerary slightly today, if that's okay. So basically myself and Darren will do a bit of an overview of Premier Interlink initially and the product itself. Steve will then speak through, talking through a slightly different approach to housing, so nothing to do with Premier Interlink. And we're then going to bring Nick's presentation forward as the keynote presentation, because it gives a very, very good overview of the whole housing sector and off-site within it. So we'll pull that forward pre-lunch. We'll then split everyone into two big groups. Half will stay here and have lunch. The other group will split into three parties to start the tour, and then we'll reciprocate as people come round, because the tour will probably take about an hour and a half, I would think, realistically. We'll then come back. We've got Jonathan Wilson, who is a current client of ours. We've just gone into contract with them for a small housing development, and he's coming in to give a client's perspective. And then we'll have one of two people coming in to talk about the warranties that we're providing. We've partnered Checkmate at the moment for warranties, and we can talk through that as well. And then I suggest we get into a full Q&A. You're welcome to ask questions throughout the presentations. I'm sure it'll become more apparent as we go through the day. So Eugene's covered some of this. I just wanted to point out the company's been around over 60 years in its various guises. As he said, it's an amalgamation of two brands. It's also more recently acquired the intellectual property and brands of both British Space Modular Buildings and also Gateway Pods. So it's a real amalgamation of a lot of brands. And we do a lot of modular construction, but we also, where necessary, do flat pack panelling, so 2D systems that fit into our buildings. So it may not be suitable particularly for the housing product we offer, but if we're doing larger buildings, we often do flat pack areas of it as well to fit different types of construction together. What I wanted to do was just touch briefly on what we're about as a business before we get into the housing products. So these are the market sectors we operate in at the moment. So it is the majority of sectors, and we wouldn't be arrogant to say that modular building, is a panacea to all these issues, but we certainly have a part to play in all the sectors. And what I wanted to do is just touch on some examples of what we do, and what's our real skill base, which will then lead to why we've got into housing. So facilities you'll see for yourself as you go around. You can ask anything you want. Just stick with your tour guide. We'll be in small groups of sort of 6 people, so you can really ask anything you want, and you'll have a very good look round. We've got a 20-acre site here in Bransburton. We also have another site down near Cambridge, which we use for the hire fleet. About 80,000 square feet of manufacturing capacity out of 4 factories. So as you'll see as you go around, 2 of them are very well set up for craneage, which is a key fundamental part of our business, which is erecting the boxes themselves. And then 2 we use as fit-out factories. All work on production lines, so everything's moving through the factory at set times of the day. So it's actually very efficient. And for those of you who've been to other off-site facilities, it can be a real variety. It can be a fully automated setup. There's 1 or 2 in the country like that. Or it can be a labour-intensive, flexible manufacturing facility. And that's the way we've set this business up deliberately, because we want to be able to build a school one day, to a house the next day, to a hospital the day after. And all our facilities are set up where we can do that, and things are programmed and moved through the factory as a bit of a heartbeat to what we do. As you'd expect, we're extremely well accredited from a quality and a safety point of view. Goes without saying, really. If you think about it, we put a lot of effort into safety, because everything we do is done in a safe manner. It's done in a controlled environment within the factory, and our site operations are probably only about 20% of the work we carry out. Okay, just to touch on a few of the sectors. So we operate quite heavily in the education sector, but we're not doing what a lot of people perceive as modular classrooms or anything like that. We're taking the more individual schemes where there's specific quality or innovation requirements involved. So a couple of examples here where there's something. So this is a large light well with some clever off-site manufactured roofs that we've done in the factory here and dropped on in situ. Very, very efficient setup where we will work with the client to come up with the exact design that suits the architect's original needs. So we're not trying to force them to take a standard approach. We're saying, how do we make our system fit with what the client really wants? And we spend a lot of time and effort to do that because we believe if we can pre-engineer it, we can build it efficiently on site. This is a school we've recently completed in Leeds. Some of you may know it, at Roundhay, where we operate as principal contractor. And again, we've taken the same approach. So you can see that there's 3 modular pavilions which have been done in the factory, and we've integrated that with some traditional build infill areas which are just a steel frame, and then the sports hall at the back is actually made out of a panelised system that we've produced here in the factory. So a real blend of skills to come up with the right solution for the clients. Now, I don't know if this picture is very clear. This is a shot of an internal classroom, which is a 7-metre high internal ceiling. We've created that innovative design by actually having a hinged roof. So we deliver flat to site, and as we're craning the unit in, we actually lift the roof into position and put an infill panel in the end. So there's an awful lot you can do with modular if you take an innovative approach to it and pre-engineered approach. Another school we finished just a few months ago, working with Balfour Beatty in London. And again, there's a lot of innovation in this. So for example, this and again, it's just having that approach from the start that you can do this to suit exactly what the needs are. Just a couple of things. Healthcare has been quite a large area for us over the last few years, and obviously it's extremely a technical area, especially around the services and the compliances you have to achieve. So we've got a hell of a technical capability in-house and also with our partnered consultancy chain to make sure we can deliver to any levels needed. But the point I wanted to raise here was what healthcare has done is it's forced us down a route to look at our flooring systems to come up with what are the best flooring systems to suit our needs. So it can be anything from a full theatre, in which case we would do with a full concrete poured floor here in the factory, down to just a more standard timber floor. So there's a huge variety, and I think one of the myths of modular is these bouncy floors. We don't have that issue, and we spend a lot of time making sure our floors are designed for the purpose that they're intended. Again, high quality, we can put a lot of innovation into it, so anything within reason you can do traditionally internally, we can do as well, whether it be curved walls, high quality finishes. The defence sectors was really the start point of our move into housing, to be fair, because what we did, we developed a new product internally, which Darren will touch on when he speaks to you. And over the last 18 months, we produced over 1,000 rooms for the military out of the same product that we have now designed our housing solution from. A simple entry for us really because it's reasonably repetitive, but what we're really proud of is that we've delivered 6 out of 8 buildings completely defect free to the establishment, and that's where we put our effort, is to being absolutely high quality and do what we say we're going to do. Another example using the same product. This was working with Balfour Beatty again. This is actually just near St Pancras Station in London. This building was an existing building that was a student accommodation block that needed refurbishing, which Balfour Beatty were doing. And our task was to work with them to come in and actually extend 2 stories on the top. So again, a lot of technical interface over loadings, gantry positions, road closures, and that's our bag, that's what we're good at. Retail sector's a completely different sector, and we enter this for a completely different reason. Our logic behind this is looking for repeat clients who we can work with over a long period of time and drive value and efficiency for it. So this is a great example. We've just delivered our 110th unit to Timpson's in the last 2 years, and we've reduced the cost that we sell them to Timpson's by 35% in that period of time and held our margin at the same level. So a massive, massive benefit to the client by working hand in hand with us. And again, that's what we're very happy to be completely open book with people if there's some longevity in the relationship. And I don't know if there's any to the contractors in the room. But again, we're very flexible, so one of the benefits Timpsons get with this is we do the boxes, their own fit-out contractor comes here and does the fit-out. So we allow them to come into our factory, and rather than going around the country doing one at a time, they can come here and fit 5 out at a time. So it could be the same if you have particular kitchen fitters on your supply chain. There's no reason they can't come here and do 10 houses at once. There's lots of things we can do. Custodial sector, if any of you have seen the inside of them. I won't ask you. And again, I think safety speaks for itself.